Allison. I hope you're having a super happy day so far. I'm super excited for this video because we are talking weddings, and in today's video I'm literally going to tell you everything I can remember about our wedding, the planning process, how much it cost, our vendors, and just sharing our process and everything I learned along the way. I know I watched quite a few of these videos as I was planning our wedding, and I know how helpful they can be, so I really hope it is helpful for you, whether you're planning your special day or you're in the wedding industry or trying to get in the wedding industry, or you're just thinking for the future. I truly hope this is so helpful, and I'm really excited to really share it all. Your love is like no other. Your love is where I feel alive, my safety and my shelter. Your love is my home. So you just saw a little sneak peek of our wedding day. Our friends over at Hey Team Kelly filmed our wedding for us, which is just so kind of them, and they are working on a wedding video, and that was my most asked question, and I've been getting questions about this all the time. Yes, I will be posting a wedding video, so it is coming. Just please be patient. I promise we'll share our day with you just a little bit. Not going to share the whole day through video, but just a little wedding video, so that will be shared super soon, so just be patient. And in the meantime, I have this video for you, which I hope you will love. Just to give a little background about our wedding, if you're new to my channel, I married my high school sweetheart in February 2nd, 2019. That was our wedding day, and we got married in sunny, beautiful Orlando, Florida, and we had an outdoor wedding, an outdoor ceremony, outdoor reception, outdoor everything, which I will get into later on in this video. And yeah, it was just a beautiful day and definitely a dream come true. So that's just a little bit about our wedding. So as I was planning our wedding, I took note of some things that I wanted to include in this video after our wedding was finished, because there are just some really key things I learned along the way. So I just kind of want to start with these so I don't forget, because I feel like it is super helpful if you're planning your wedding, and I'm just so glad we did these things. So first and foremost, something that I really suggest doing right after you get engaged is to create a separate email account that you can use for all of your wedding stuff. So whenever you talk to a vendor, whenever you send out an email that is wedding related, you use this email. So for us, we created a Gmail account that was bestdayeverbiggerstaff@gmail.com. So whenever I reached out to photographers, venues, anything like that, I sent it from this email, so my personal email inbox wasn't flooded with a bunch of wedding stuff. And this was amazing, because it just helped me be so much more organized and so much more on top of it. And my personal email is always flooded anyways, so that would just be another stressful thing that I did not need in my life while I was wedding planning. So I highly suggest doing that as soon as you get engaged. And then also within that email, I created different tabs, or different tags, or I think they're called labels in Gmail. I don't know, it might be different for your email provider, but pretty sure they're called labels for Gmail. And so I created one for the venue, one for the photographer, one for the DJ, one for the florist. I'm trying to think what else there is. The caterer, the food. So each one had a different label. So whenever I had an email from them and I replied, I just dragged it into that folder. So whenever I needed to reference something, I could just go to that exact folder and everything would be right there, all organized, because as you're planning a wedding, you're signing all kinds of contracts and you're going back and forth. So it's really important just to stay organized. And for us, we didn't hire a planner or anything like that, so we really truly did mostly everything. We did have some fabulous vendors, so of course they do a whole bulk of it as well, but we did not hire a wedding planner. We didn't have a day of planner or anything like that, so it was really important that we stayed organized ourselves and just made sure everything was in the right place. So that is a huge tip I just wanted to start out with. So once we got engaged and I made that email and I was ready to start reaching out for vendors, the first thing that you have to do is pick your venue, which is honestly really tough because, at least for me, I truly did not have a vision for our wedding day. I had a little bit of a vision, but not a really specific vision. Like, I dreamt about my wedding, I guess. Like, I knew I wanted to marry my husband Brandon for years, but I just never really thought about our wedding that much, like the specifics of it. So I really didn't know what kind of venue I wanted. I knew what I didn't want. I knew I didn't want to get married at a hotel ballroom. I knew I didn't want to get married at a barn. I knew I didn't want to get married at a church. I mean, I could get married at a church, but there was none that really, like, I wanted it to be really light, airy, and I love being outdoors, and I wanted an outdoor wedding, which is tricky in Florida. But yeah, there were a lot of things I didn't want in a venue. They're all beautiful, and looking back now, I mean, I would have been happy in any of those I just stated, but I was kind of particular with the venue from the beginning. So when we found our venue, I actually knew about our venue for a while, and I just was like, like, it's fine, it's okay, but I had my hesitations, mainly because it's all outdoors and there's not really a backup option if the weather is not ideal. So that was my biggest hesitation. And I don't know, but after Brandon and I toured it for the first time, I actually have a vlog of us touring it. So I'll link all my wedding videos down below so you can watch that to see kind of in hindsight, like, everything happened. But yeah, so I was like on the fence about it and I had my hesitations, but we ended up booking it, and we really just felt the pressure of needing to book something fast because we had about a 7-month engagement, but in Orlando, things book up so fast. And when you think about it, like, kind of makes sense why venues book up so fast, because in a month, there's only about 4 weekends. So that's, if you want to get married on a Saturday, like, that's only 4 weddings per month that can be at that venue. And think about all the people in Orlando. Like, there's tons of people getting married. So we really needed to book a venue fast. So we ended up booking the Acre Orlando, which is a beautiful venue in Orlando. And thank God the weather turned out to be okay. Like, I am so thankful. I guess I'll just talk about this now, but that was the hardest thing about wedding planning, and like the most stressful thing for me was worrying about the weather. And I am like ashamed that I worried about it so much, but it was just such an important day. And again, our venue, since we had our guest list included a little over 100 people, there was no backup if it rained. And leading up to our wedding, the forecast said it was going to rain. Like, it was over 50% chance of rain. And I actually took so many screenshots the week before our wedding of the weather forecast, because almost every time I checked it, it would change. And it was driving me crazy. It was just so stressful. And honestly, if you're having an outdoor wedding, I would suggest not checking the weather, because ignorance is truly, truly bliss. I stopped checking the weather about like 30 hours before our wedding. I just didn't check the weather anymore, and I had so much more peace, and I just prayed about it, and I felt so much better. And I should have done this the whole week leading up to my wedding, because I kept telling myself, well, I need to check it because I just want to be mentally prepared and, you know, be able to deal with it. But no, it's better not to check the weather if you're having an outdoor wedding. But yeah, it was crazy. And so that was my biggest hesitation with the venue. And honestly, in Florida, you truly never know about the weather. Like, in January, February, and March, it doesn't rain as much in Florida. In summer, it rains literally every day, but only for a few hours, or I mean, like 20 minutes. It's usually just 20-minute rain shower. So I don't know, but Florida is literally like a tropical rainforest. Sometimes you really don't know what the weather is like. And there was a big chance that our wedding day could have been like 40 degrees. It could have been really cold for Florida. So I was just kind of worried. I wanted our guests to feel comfortable. I wanted us to feel comfortable. But God was so faithful in our day and really just provided the most magical weather. It was sunny and 75 degrees. It was so perfect. It was truly the weather I dreamed of and prayed for, and he provided that, which was just so incredible. And I do have to say, in retrospect, it was sweeter that, you know, the forecast said it was going to be so rainy and cloudy, that it turned out to be such a sunny and beautiful day, because that made it just even more awe-inspiring and just like such a testimony to God and like his faithfulness and what happens when you trust in him, because he truly, like, only God can change the weather, and he truly provided the most beautiful day. But yeah, I had so many screenshots of the weather and it changed so much. Like on this one, like on this day, you can see this was the week of our wedding, and Saturday it has little rain clouds. So that was it just had the cloud. This is on the Apple app, and it just had the cloud and rain. And then as we got closer, I don't know what day, this was the Tuesday before our wedding. But yeah, on Saturday it has the rain clouds, and it says precipitation 60%, which is just like scary. It was scary. And then the next day it said on Saturday it was going to be 50% precipitation, and then just more rain clouds. Oh, and then there was one day, on Wednesday, I checked later in the day, and then it didn't have any rain cloud. It just had a cloud. So I was like, yay! But then, you know, that changed again. I think that's when I stopped screenshotting it. But yeah, actually, the rehearsal dinner, someone checked the weather, and it literally said it got worse as we got closer. So I was hoping it would get better as we got closer, but the forecast just got worse. But again, it turned out to be the most beautiful day, and I absolutely loved having an outdoor wedding, because again, I didn't have a vision, but the only thing I knew I kind of wanted was like a backyard wedding, like a garden, like a secret garden kind of whimsical wedding, which is pretty much what happened. So my dream came true, but it really wasn't a specific dream. I just kind of wanted it to be like gardeny and just, you know, magical and all outdoors and just like garden-esque. And thankfully that's how it turned out. And again, God is so faithful, and there's literally nothing I could have done to make the weather perfect, and only he can do that. So for that, I am so thankful. But I would say any Florida brides who are nervous about the weather and think they're going to be like me and kind of stressing and checking the weather because they like to be in control, I would recommend getting married indoors. But again, if you're just like really easygoing and you want an outdoor wedding, do it. I mean, even if it did rain, it would be the perfect day, and it would be the best day ever no matter what. But it does add a little, you know, aspect of stress, especially since we didn't have a wedding planner or anything like that. So yeah, that's a little advice I have about that. So yeah, pick out your venue. And then we decided not to do save the dates, because our engagement was about 7 months, and we felt like everyone who knew, we just told everyone when our wedding date would be, and we only had about 100 guests, so pretty much everyone knew. We could tell because we see them frequently or talk with them frequently, so that was fine. And then we ended up sending our invitations out pretty early, so a little earlier than most. And we got our invitations. These are them. I pulled them out to show you guys a closer look. We ordered these from Minted, and we really enjoyed it. And they actually printed people's addresses on the envelope for us. And that just came with the invitation. So we didn't have to pay extra for that, which was amazing. So that really saved us so much time not having to handwrite the addresses, and it made it look so nice and so professional. And they even printed our address on the back, which is so nice. I don't know if you can see it, but like in the same beautiful font, they printed our address, so our return address, so we didn't have to worry about that either. But I really like these invitations. So we just said on the front, join us for a heartwarming day full of romance and magic. Allison and Brandon, February 2nd, 2019, The Acre, Orlando. And we had our ceremony begin at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then under that just says reception to follow. And then on the back, we just had this cute little picture of us. And then we had everybody RSVP for details. at our wedding website, which is bestdayeverbickerstaff.com. So that was our wedding website, and that was also our hashtag for the wedding, hashtag bestdayeverbickerstaff. And that worked out really well. We also had our website password protected, and yeah, that worked out really well, not having to send out RSVP cards. It's just so convenient and it saves a lot of money to just have people RSVP online. And it's also really nice because it's immediate. You know, once people receive the invitation, they can just pop online and RSVP, and it's just a much faster process, which was super helpful. So we sent these out in November. We sent them early, you know. Usually people send out save the dates and then send out the actual invitation about a month before the wedding, or a month and a half. But we sent ours out in November because we didn't want to get in the middle of the Christmas card rush. We wanted to avoid that and send it out a little early so that they wouldn't get lost in the Christmas card shuffle. So that's what we did, and I just really thought that worked out well. While we're talking about stationery, I wanted to also show you our thank you cards. So once our wedding was over, our sweet photographer, she sent us some previews, which was amazing. She sent it to us the morning after our wedding, which was so great. And I just got our whole gallery of wedding pictures back last week, so I'm including them in this video so that you can see little details. But these thank you cards were great to send out. We tried to get this off our to-do list right after our wedding. So we got these from Shutterfly. Pretty inexpensive. I love the size of them. They're just so small and cute. But I just used this photograph of us. Oh my gosh, it's so bright because my light. But hopefully you guys can see it okay. It looks really overexposed, but yeah, it's us. I posted this image on Instagram, so maybe you've already seen it, but it says thank you, and then the Bickerstaffs. And then in the middle, we have another photo with our wedding day. And then over here it says, thank you for celebrating our can't talk. Thank you for celebrating our best day ever with us. Heart A and B. So super simple. Putting my light back up so I'm nice and bright for you guys. So yeah, super simple. And yeah, I just think they turned out really cute and easy peasy. So we sent those out. So yeah, that's all the stationery. Let me think. I asked for questions on Instagram as well, so I'll be going through those. This video is going to be super long, but again, I feel like I just have so much to share with you all. So I'll be answering those questions as well. But I'll show you some other things that I can think of. These are my wedding shoes I pulled out because I had some questions about those. So these are my wedding shoes. They're so fun. They're these velvet bow shoes, and I got them from ASOS for $26. Very affordable. And they were pretty comfy. Not super comfy, but I actually changed into these for our reception. So I just wore them during the ceremony, and then I changed my dress and my shoes for the reception, which was super fun. And I just wore these little sandals I've had for a long time, and I felt so comfy, which was so nice. So yeah, our ceremony was about, I don't know how long it was. I think it was like 20-25 minutes, and we had our youth pastor as our officiant. He was our youth pastor when Brandon and I first started dating 7 years ago. So that was really cool. He was kind of like there when we first fell in love and all that good stuff, and he really had a big impact on our life and our faith because that was such a crucial time like in our development. I was 15, Brandon was 17 when we first started dating. Yeah, that sounds right. So yeah, he just played a really big impact in our youth. So he was our officiant, which was so special. And we didn't really do anything traditional in our ceremony. We didn't have any kind of, like, we didn't do the knots, or we didn't do the candle, we didn't take communion or anything like that. But we did say our own vows, which was so special. That was, I don't know. It's hard to pick my favorite part of the day because there were so many special moments, but that probably was my favorite. Hearing Brandon's vows that he wrote and he took the time to put together, that was so incredibly special. I'll insert a little clip of his vows because they're just so, so sweet.
Relationship, seeing you blossom into a strong and driven young woman, graduating college, and what I enjoy and admire most, watching you continually trust in God, serve Him in all you do, and love others so humbly and joyfully, has truly been the greatest blessing ever. God is probably getting tired of how frequently I thank Him for allowing our paths to cross and pray for you, our relationship, and our future. I have and continue to learn so much from you, including how to have fun and, most importantly, be humble and better love others. You are so amazingly and genuinely gracious, compassionate, and selfless, and I admire how you use your platform in every, no matter how seemingly irrelevant situation, to broadcast hope, purpose, and the love of Christ.
Yeah, I was crying. Thankfully, I didn't bawl. I was nervous about me absolutely just losing it and just crying, but thankfully I was able to keep it together. When I was saying my vows though, my voice was kind of crackly. I was like, Brandon, bigger stuff. I just, just like talk crying, but it worked out just fine, and our ceremony was super special. And then when we went down the aisle, we had rose petals for people to toss up, which was super, super fun. And a really funny moment of our day was after we walked down the aisle, Brandon, he just ran, like he pulled me and ran like closer to this house that was on our acre, at the venue, and he just started taking off his like suit, like pretending he just took off his jacket, like he was pretending we were just gonna go, Yeah, it was hilarious. It was so funny. But that was a funny little moment. And then we just took pictures, family portraits. Oh, something that we did decide to do was a first look. So I actually asked for advice about this on Instagram, and so many people gave me such good feedback. And there were some people that, it was pretty polarizing. There were some people that were like gun-ho for our first look and thought it was like the best thing ever. And then there were some people who were like, no way, like you have to just see each other the first time when you're walking down the aisle. And originally that's what Brandon and I wanted. We wanted just our first look to be walking down the aisle, but as I thought about it more, it just made so much sense. And looking back now, I'm so glad we did a first look, and I don't think it took anything away from me walking down the aisle. I mean, Brandon was still so emotional, like tears in his eyes, like, and he's never like that. And so I personally think that it didn't take any of the specialness from walking down the aisle, and I didn't wear my veil or anything for the first look. So I thought it was really, really special, and it helped us save so much time because we were able to take so many photos before the actual wedding, which was so great and really helped us save time after the ceremony. So I recommend it personally. I mean, if you're not into it, like, don't do it, but it really provided us alone time and a special time for just Brandon and I to kind of be with each other before our wedding, and we read letters to each other, and it truly was just so special. And we got to see a lot of the decorations and decor before anyone else, which was really, really cool. Okay, the next thing I'm going to share is the price we had to pay for a special day. You guys know, if you're planning a wedding or you know about weddings, they are so freaking expensive. I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense. You're throwing a huge party for, 100 people, or maybe even more, maybe less, so you can, spend a little less. But it is so expensive. But thankfully, I'm really proud of everything, like the amount of money we spent. I feel like we did a really good... Oops, my camera stopped recording because my card was full, but I'm back. And I really got to the juicy stuff, the money. As I was saying, I'm proud of how much money we spent because we really just didn't want to spend a fortune on... We still spend a lot of money. Like, if you're having a big wedding, you have to spend a lot of money. There's literally no way you can... Like, you can't have a wedding for $1,000 and invite 100 people unless, like, you have a venue for free, unless you have a lot of free stuff, basically. But yeah, they're just really expensive, but I think we did a good job prioritizing what we wanted to spend money on. And it turned out okay, and we spent a little over $16,000, which is really good for an over 100 people wedding. So I think that is really nice. And we paid for the venue, DJ, photographer, florist, dresses, outfits. I'm really thankful that we were able to spend that much and not anymore, because again, it's just really expensive, and there were just other important things we wanted to use our money and resources for. So yeah, I actually made a video about planning a wedding on a budget, and I shared some really helpful tips on there, so I will also link that below. And just make sure you check out my other wedding related videos, because I hope they can help you and maybe you can find out some more helpful info. Everything I said in that video is what we ended up doing that, and that helped us, maintain our budget and spend what we did. One big super important investment I believe is photographer. Because someone said this to me when I first got engaged, and it really stuck with me, and I thought it was really good advice. Everything from that day, you won't have anymore. Like the food, you won't have that anymore. The DJ, you won't have that anymore. Or the flowers, you won't have that anymore. But the pictures, you will have your whole life, and you'll have those to look back on your whole life. So I do really think it's so important to find a photographer that aligns with what you're looking for, and you do invest in that. And when you think about it, photographers, they spend so much time working on your photos, and videographers, they spend so much time working on your videos and photos, and those memories are what you can look back on for years and years to come. So over anything, I think this is the investment you should make, is for photography and videography. But that is coming from me, and those things are very important in my life overall. So maybe I'm a little biased, but I think those are really important. But a big money saving tip is, to purchase a photographer who does a la carte services. Is it a la carte? I said this wrong the last time, and I still don't know how to say it. One second, please hold.
A la carte.
A la carte, not a la carte. Silly me. So try to find someone who can do a la carte if this is what you want. This is what we wanted, and it worked out really, really nicely. So basically, our photographer was just there for 4 hours. And that was all we needed. I really just wanted daylight photos. I don't really need photos at night of people dancing. I'd rather just have like some video clips of that, and just some Polaroids, which we had a Polaroid camera. And yeah, so we just booked her for 4 hours, and she captured the first look, the ceremony, cake cutting, our special dances, and then she left like as we began our reception. So it worked out really, really perfectly. Oh, and she captured some stuff of me getting ready as well. And that's really all we needed. And we have seriously hundreds of photographs just from those 4 hours, because wedding photographers capture, over 100 images per hour for your wedding day, which is so amazing. So she did such a great job, and we love her wedding photos, and that saved a whole bunch of money. That saved almost $1,000, or maybe even more than $1,000, just by doing a la carte, because usually a normal wedding package is 8 hours, so it really just cuts it in half and worked out really nicely. Okay, I've really been talking your guys' ear off, but I wanted to answer some of the questions I got, because there's just so much, and I don't want to miss anything. Oh, this is a fun question. Lexi asked, how did you get him to know what type/design of ring you wanted? So basically, how did you hint to your man that you wanted a certain kind of engagement ring? So Brandon and I, again, we've been together for 7 years, so we talk about everything. Like, he knew what kind of wedding ring I liked for years. Like, he just knew. We talked about it, and I sent him pictures and all that kind of stuff. So for us, we're just really, really close and really share everything. I just put it out there. I just told him. But like, honestly, if you guys talk about marriage, I don't think it's rude or anything to, ask or talk about it and just be honest and open about it. But he definitely picked out everything else, and my sister-in-law and mother-in-law went with him to like make sure everything was good, I guess. He brought them with him to the jeweler and stuff, and that's my ring. I knew I wanted oval, just simple, classic, and he did a really good job. So yeah, you can just talk about it. That's just how I would do it. I think it's, I don't know, you can Pinterest, you can have a open non-secret Pinterest board and pin all the rings you like, so that maybe he'll look on there, because I know that's pretty well known among guys to check the girls' Pinterest board. So maybe do that. So someone asked, did you have any plan just in case the Florida rain decided to make an appearance? And again, our venue truly didn't have a backup plan. We did, however, purchase a clear wedding tent rental, which honestly was so expensive. That was a big part of our budget. It was, I can go look. It was so expensive. Like, you would never think tents are that expensive, but it does make sense because it's a lot of labor more than anything, because the tents are big. We ordered a 30 by 30 tent, and we loved the clear, and then I also added market lighting to it, so that really hiked up the price. But yeah, that was expensive, but it really did provide some peace of mind in case it started raining, because again, there was no other option. There were indoor sections at our venue, but they were all tiny. They were all super small, so not everybody would be able to fit. And in one of the indoor sections, we had all of our food. And for food, we just had a big buffet of lots of different yummy stuff, and that was good, and buffets save money as well. So the tent was, just to give you an idea, because I know like this would have been helpful to me if I knew how much a tent was. Just the tent itself with the market lighting was $1,800, $1,825.18. Yeah, so expensive for a 30 by 30 clear tent with market lighting. Yeah, lovely. But it did provide comfort, peace of mind, and honestly, it looked really pretty even though it didn't rain. I think tents are really beautiful with the lights, and just, I love the look of them. So I'm happy with it. And we still had all of our tables for our reception under there, and the market lighting was a really nice touch. But yeah, other than that, other than the little small tent that wouldn't be able to fit everyone, we had no backup plan, which is very nerve-wracking, but again, thank God everything turned out to be okay. Someone asked, did I cry? Absolutely, I did, but thankfully not like a baby. Oh, I love this. Yes. What was your first dance song? Oh my goodness. Our first dance song was Take the World by Johnny Swim. It is such a beautiful song. So beautiful. I absolutely love that song, and it was just, I knew I wanted that to be our first dance song far before we were engaged, so that was nice. At least I knew one thing before we got engaged, so that was really sweet. And then for the mother-son dance, Brandon and his mom danced to My Wish by Rascal Flatts, and then for my father-daughter dance, we danced to Daughters by John Mayer. Love that song. That was also a really easy choice. And then I surprised my mom with a mother-daughter dance. She was joking about it before the wedding. She was like, oh, we should have a dance. I was like, haha, yeah, like, no. But then I surprised her, and it was awesome. And this song makes me cry. It's called Mama's Song by Carrie Underwood. And I surprised her with this song, and it was the sweetest thing ever. Such a sweet song. You guys should listen to it. It's basically just saying, like, your daughter's growing up, but it's that Carrie Underwood's, like, singing it as the daughter. And hi, husband. Here, just close the door. It's my husband. Bye. Oh no, he's video bombing. Uh-oh, making a mess. It's fine. Love you.
Love you.
So that was just a really sweet moment. And a really sweet song. And when she's like, he is good, so good. I'm a really good singer, clearly. When she started singing that, my mom was like, come here, Brandon. And then he started dancing with us. It was just great. So that was super fun. But yeah, those were all our special dances. Oh, I want to share the song I walked down the aisle to. So before I walked down the aisle, we played Love Like This by Lauren Daigle. And Brandon said that that song was making him so emotional. It is the most beautiful song. It's a worship song, so it's about God. But also it's about, like, for me, it says so much about, like, my family and just our friends and everyone who loves us, because it says, what did I do to deserve a love? I'm gonna cry. But throughout the whole song, it just says, what have I done to deserve love like this? And it's just so beautiful. And it's so emotional to me. I don't know why. But it's just such a sweet song and just so true. Like, there's nothing better in the world than being loved by people and family and friends and God, more importantly. And this song was just so beautiful and so special. So that was really special, and that played while our family was walking down the aisle. And then this beautiful song is what I walked down the aisle to. It's a Golden Childhood from the Cinderella live action movie. It's one of my absolute favorite songs. It is so lovely, so whimsical, and the Flower Girls walked down to this song. Oh, we didn't have a bridal party, by the way. I think I left that out. We had friends get ready with us and just be with us the whole process, but we decided not to have a bridal party, and that worked out really well, and it was still just as special. So yeah, just the Flower Girls, and then I walked down to A Golden Childhood from Cinderella. I'm gonna play the part that climaxes. There's a part in the middle of the song that kind of climaxes, and that's when so Brandon, oh, I need to pause. So Brandon was turned around because at our venue, we didn't have like a door that opened or anything, any kind of reveal thing. So after A Love Like This by Lauren Daigle, Brandon turned around, and then the best man, we had a best man, which is his brother, he turned Brandon around when I was like, okay, turn around, because I knew the song really well and I knew like when I wanted him to turn around. So he turned it around like right when when I reached the top of the aisle and this song climaxed, and it turned out to be really, really perfect. How magical is that? I have chills. Oh my gosh, it's so magical. I would listen to this song like driving to work or, you know, driving anywhere, and I would just start crying thinking about that moment of when Brandon turned around and saw me walking down the aisle, and oh my gosh, I could cry right now again. That has to be one of the best moments of our day, was just that moment with that song playing and just everyone there, and oh my goodness, so special. That moment and the vows were just incredible. And especially because the weather was just, it was the most beautiful day. Like the birds were chirping and so special. And like those moments on your wedding day make the whole planning process so worth it. Because Brandon and I, during the planning process, we were almost like, this is crazy, like this is not worth it. We need to just go elope. Like, let's go to the courthouse, let's just do this and like save all this money, save all this time, save all this energy. But those moments made it so worth it. And I know your special day will have those moments as well, and I'm so excited for you. Another things I want to just touch on before I call this video quits, because it's so long, it's gonna be an hour long. This Happy Place Design, thank God for her. She is starting her wedding design company in Orlando, and she is so talented. She works as a display artist. She used to work at Urban Outfitters. Now she works at Anthropologie at Disney Springs. She's so talented, and she helped with all of our decor. And I'll insert a ton of pictures here, and there's a ton on my Instagram as well. But this Happy Place Design, if you're in Orlando and you're planning a wedding, definitely reach out to her for decor. She has a ton of rentals, and you can rent the pink Allison couch that was at my wedding and use it at your wedding. That'd be so cool. So definitely reach out to her. She's incredible. And someone asked who walked me down the aisle. My dad did. And then Someone asked, did you do something old, new, borrowed, and blue? No, I didn't do any of that traditional stuff. It just didn't mean anything to me, so I didn't spend time on that. Someone asked, do you recommend a long engagement or a short one? Or does it depend on the couple? I think it depends on the person, like what kind of person you are. But honestly, if anything, I would have had a shorter engagement. I would not want to get engaged any longer. The only thing is the venue. That's tricky because the venues do fill up so fast, especially in our market. But if anything, I would have had a shorter engagement. But I just love being married, and you know, I'm just so thankful we didn't have any of a longer engagement because it's so special being married. And even though it's a lot to plan, I never felt like we were, you know, running behind or anything like that. You can get it done in 3 months if you just spend time on it, you know. And if you have a year engagement, you're just kind of procrastinating or just waiting. So I like short engagements personally, but it does depend on the person. Okay, last question I'm going to answer. Sorry, I might just do a whole different separate wedding Q&A because there's just a lot more questions, but I feel like I touched on a lot of things. Hopefully, because this video is so long. Last question, would you do anything different on your wedding day? Honestly, no. And I feel like this is so cliche. All the wedding videos I watched were like this. They were like, no, it was perfect just the way it was. But truly, it is. Like, it is such a special day. And even if everything goes wrong, like, it is the best day ever because you're marrying the love of your life. I have goosebumps saying this because it's so stinking true. Like, weddings are so materialistic, and I feel like a lot of times the focus and heart behind weddings gets lost in just the industry and just the material desires in our lives, and I'm totally guilty of that as well. So no, I would not do anything different. The only thing I can think of is just, you know, the weather and the outdoor wedding kind of thing. But I loved it. I'm so glad we had an outdoor wedding, but that was the only thing where it was like tricky. So yeah, it's gonna be the best day ever, and I really hope this video was helpful for you. It was really fun for me to film and kind of reminisce and just think about our day. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you super soon. Bye.
Not a soul up ahead and nothing behind. There's a desert in my